The joys of doing this way. I hope now I am not sideways. I hope now it is correct and that everybody is seeing this correctly. And so we are going to move straight on to Matovu. Wherever you are sitting, wherever you are congregated, one of you or two of you, or sometimes if you're lucky, even 3 or 4 of you, here we are. How good are our tents, O Jacob?
Shachave, Elecha, Moshecha,
tefillati Licha Adonai et ratzon, and I should be my prayer. My prayer and I should be one. Not I, my prayer is for you, O God, may this be an hour of willing. No. I am my prayer. We are our prayer. We are our very best wishes. We are what we really, really wish and want to be. We are that. We become that. Blessed is the one who spoke, and all of this glory came into being. Baruch Shamar Daya Olam. Baruch Shamar Daya Olam. Baruch Oseh Bereshit, Baruch Omer ve'oseh, Baruch Gozer u'mkayem, Baruch merachem al haaretz, Baruch merachem al habriut, Baruch meshalem sachar tov lire'ah, Baruch chai la'ad lekayam la'netzach, Baruch modeh u'matzil, Baruch Shemo. So I can't hear you and I can't see you, but I can see Terry's face and I see how it lights up every once in a while from a comment that comes in or something she sees, or it makes her laugh. So keep the comments coming, and here's what we'll do, because I will not be able to answer them now. What I promise to do is after Shabbat is over, I'll sit down on Facebook and I'll write back answers to everybody who has sent me comments, okay? How's that? So here we are. We are, for all of you following at our Makom Songbooks, we are now on page 33. Nachman says, right, that in this world, in this life, as we are on this side of the veil, it's impossible for us to know. It is impossible for us to understand that God is completely good all the time, and that God's graciousness is forever. But in diesen Weisentag, when the final day will arrive, everyone will know Shekulotov. God will be all good, completely will become apparent to us. What we are living through, all of this, still, Hodula Adonai Kitov. Thank God, thank God, thank God. My grandfather's lesson to me over and over and over again as a child. Anyway, say thank you. Anyway, say thank you. Be grateful, be grateful, be grateful, especially in the morning. Especially in the morning when you are maybe at home, on your own, shut in like that. But I'm looking out the windows and the sun is glorious today. It's a beautiful day. We've had a lot of rainy days here in Southern California lately, kind of London weather for some reason. And today we're back to California. So here we are. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. The strangest thing for me, honestly, well, there's two strange things. One is that y'all are not in here with me, and so that's very odd, not feeling all of you that way. And the second thing is, I don't have Michael sitting there and playing with me. I don't have Sarah standing there and singing with me. This is the strangeness of that energy. But we're going to work out a way. And today I'm trying something that you will see soon. Trying something that we can do in order to make this a touch, including more of the people that we normally have with us, but we are living through extraordinary times. So we are at the Baruch Hu. There's no one Kodesh here, and you are where you are. If you feel like rising and bowing, you can do that. Otherwise, bowing this way will work too, okay? Let's do that again. Beautiful melody by Feliza and Ozoa. And the melody for Hallelujah was, of course, Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, the great Qawwali Sufi composer, singer, brilliant, wonderful person whose music was then adapted by congregation BJ in New York, Bnei Yeshurun. So we are at the Shema. We are at the Shema, and each one of us can shield their eyes and get together with this extraordinary fact that all of this, one, and that God is completely indivisible, completely one, totally one, everything one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושינתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אמת, truth, love. There's going to be today in the portion repetition of things, wisdom, charity or generosity, generosity of spirit, generosity of the heart, willingness, and wisdom. And since we're talking about the construction of the Mishkan, of the tabernacle, it seems as though love, compassion, generosity of spirit, a willingness, an openness of the heart, an openness of the soul, and wisdom are the prerequisites for God dwelling within us. That's what Simcha Bunim, the great Rebbe, taught his student, the Kotzke Rebbe, when he said to Menachem Mendel, "Where is God?" And Menachem Mendel didn't answer. He said, "Menachem Mendel, where's God?" And the Kotzke Rebbe didn't answer. And the third time, "Menachem Mendel, where's God?" And then Reb Simcha Bunim answered him and said, "God is where you let God in. Other than that, God exists nowhere as far as we are concerned. Of no use to us unless we let God in. Unless we have a willing heart. Unless we are compassionate. To who? To each other. Loving to each other. Respectful of each other. Reaching out to each other. Then God. No compassion, no openness, no charity, generosity of heart, no wisdom, no God. So I'm going to sing Tzama Nafshi. Tzama Nafshi, the wonderful Berz Hasidic melody with the gorgeous words by Abraham Ibn Ezra. And after I sing Tzama Nafshi, we're going to all take 1 minute of just shh, just completely quiet. Here I can hear the fountain outside and the birds chirping. Wherever you are, just tune in, just shh. And when we're done with that, we'll do some Torah, because it's Shabbat. So here we are. Elohim,
ויקל משה את כל עדת בני ישראל ויאמר עליהם אלה הדברים אשר ציווה אדוני לעשות אותם 6 ימים תעשה מלאכה וביום השביעי יהיה לכם קודש שבת שבתון לאדוני כל העושה בו מלאכה יומת לא תבערו אש בכל משבותיכם ביום השבת ויאמר משה אל כל עדת בני ישראל לאמור זה הדבר אשר ציווה אדוני לאמור קחו מאתכם תרומה לאדוני כל נדיב ליבו יביאה את תרומת אדוני זהב וכסף ונחושת ותכלת וארגמן ותולת שני ו6 עזים ויקל משה את כל עדת בני ישראל ויאמר
How cool was that? Thank you so much to Ariela for chanting. So we are in the portion of Vayakhel. And he gathered. And here's the thing. So we're looking at the book of Exodus chapter 35. And the word Vayakhel means, and he congregated, and he brought together. The Vizhnitzer Rebbes teach us that the reason that this happens is because before you can give instructions for anything to do with Shabbat, before you can go into any observance, you first have to gather. You first have to come together. So look at the portion. Today, of all days, Vayakhel gather together as a community. And here we are, so many of us quarantined, whether we are in California or in New York or in Illinois now, and I understand also Connecticut now has it, and other places around the world. How do we gather together? What does it mean in the digital age? Because if this doesn't mean something today, then my principle always is, if it's not relevant today, throw it out. It's useless. But it can't be. Because for me, Torah is constantly relevant all the time. So, here we are, gathered, all of us. Wherever you are, what we're doing right now, Vayakhel, gathered together, all of us, as a community. And in our day and age, it obviously takes a very different shape than it did at that time. But if you think that this quarantining, this keeping social distance, this washing of the hands is so unique to our times. Please think about what happened just before God gives the Torah in Mount Sinai. Think about it. God tells Moses to tell the children of Israel that they should all go, they should wash their clothes, and then they should not come any closer than a certain area around the mountain. Social distancing and hygiene as a prerequisite for accepting holiness. This is something to really chew on. This is something to think about. Whenever you think, well, this was written in archaic times. People had archaic ideas about God. Not so much. It is so relevant completely. And when I don't agree with something, or chas v'chalila, don't like something in the Torah, and it happens quite a few times, then I take that as a sign for me to wrestle with it and to figure out what that's about. So, there's another thing here. The Ishbitzer Rebbe talks about the fact, and the Ishbitzer Rebbe lived in 19th century Poland, beautiful, beautiful teaching, Meir Shiloach. He teaches that if you look at this portion carefully, everybody from the children of Israel brought something to the Mishkan. Everyone. Now, obviously there were people like Bezalel who were the craftsmen who actually put everything, but everybody brought something. And when it was done, all the children of Israel look at this and they go, oh my God, it's like, it's one. It's this one thing, as though one hand had created all of this. But it was everybody. And so the Ishbitzer said that at that moment, where was there place for arrogance? Where was there a place for self-doubt? Where was there place for self-loathing? Where was there place for anyone to feel out of place? Everyone had created this. Everyone had created this. Lord Rabbi Zach says that in order to build a community, you need to build. In order to create a people, you need to create. In other words, the task of doing something together is what creates the holiness in the community. It's not about faith anymore. This is not about you do believe in God, you don't believe in God, which is, for me, an irrelevant question. It's a question I'm not interested in at all. Because at the end of the day, either you do or you don't. Still, you have to behave as a human being. Still, you have to help build. We have to make a better union, a better America, a better England, a better wherever, a better LA, a better neighborhood, a better house. We build it together, and then holiness dwells in it. I want to focus, davar acher, as we always say. Davar acher, another item. Another item is verse 3 says, Lo teva'aru esh bechol moshvotechem b'yom HaShabbat. Ariela had just chanted that. Thou shalt not ignite fires wherever you dwell on the Sabbath. So how are we supposed to read a sentence like that? Well, luckily it's Shabbat, and we have Psalm 92, which comes on Shabbat, and in Psalm 92, in verse 7, it says, Ish ba'ar lo yada, uchsi lo yavin et zot. An ignorant person won't know this, and a fool doesn't understand. And the question is, what is the connection between that and what we just read? Well, the word for ignorant in Psalm 92 is ba'ar. The word that we're using here, lo teva'aru. The root is exactly the same for ignorant and arson. The same root for ignorance and arson. What is it going to teach us? The one thing we should not do is ignite fires of ignorance. We should never ignite fires of ignorance. But on Shabbat, more than any other time, what we need on Shabbat is the water of truth, not of ignorance. What we need on Shabbat is sustaining water to revive us, to refresh our souls, to make us whole again, to wash us clean from the weak. The last thing we need is fires of ignorance spreading, because fires of ignorance have a way of destroying everything in their path. Lo teva'aru esh b'chol moshvotechem b'yom HaShabbat. Thou shalt not ignite fires of ignorance wherever you dwell on Shabbat. And if on Shabbat, then we should probably follow the Amnishover Rebbe's direction. The Amnishover Rebbe, as I've told many people from Makom before, there's a halachic rule that you can postpone saying Havdalah until Tuesday night. So, on Shabbat evening, the Amnishover Rebbe, he goes up. Tuesday he says Havdalah, therefore Wednesday he receives guests. Thursday it's already Shabbat is almost there, and then Friday it's already. So Amnishover Rebbe lives 6 days in Shabbat, 1 day in Chol. So let's try to take this idea of not spreading fires of ignorance, not just for Shabbat, but for at least 6 days of the week, as much as we can. And that is what I have to say about today's portion. I hope that it awakens things in you that you will think about and will write about, and then maybe we can have a conversation on Facebook or email. But we'll talk more about this portion, because it's truly beautiful. This idea of all of us together building something that the act of building in itself causes holiness. We don't wait for God to descend and fill the place, because, hey, God is everywhere to begin with. It's the act of doing it that causes our awareness of God. The act of being kind to each other, compassionate to each other, reaching out to each other, helping each other, loving each other. That's my word for today. I would like to offer a mishaberach for all who are in need of a mishaberach, and there are a lot of people, and you can put names out there because I don't know, I'm not seeing, okay? But please, all of you, you know who you are, say a name. And by the way, say a name on behalf of somebody else as well, okay? Say a name wherever you are, and we'll sing mishaberach, and we'll use Craig Tauman's beautiful melody for that. אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך וינפה את החולים. Let's sing it again, please. מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך וינפה את החולים. אלנה לפניו, אלנה לפניו, אלנה לפניו, אלנה לפניו. מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך וינפה את החולים. הוא יברך וינפה את החולים. Healing, refuah shlema, only goodness, only sweetness, only joy. It is incumbent upon us to give thanks to the one who created all of this. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוסף בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כעת, וגורלנו ככל העונה. אנחנו עולים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני that will come, it's not that God's name will be one again. God's name is one. But our brokenness, the name of God that's broken in us will be one again. God, who we broke, who we dragged down with us into the mud, who we took with us down into Egypt, into exile, God, the God that we did that to, will be one again. Amen. We are at the Kaddish Yatum, at the mourner's Kaddish. And there are so many people watching, and you each have somebody to mention. And I would like you to mention for yourselves who you are remembering. For us, just in this period of Shoshim at Makom Eleh, we are mourning the loss of Joseph Lesser. And we are also mourning the loss of Mark Aronson. But there are others, and those who have yahrzeits, please take this opportunity to say that name out loud. יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה, בעלמא דברך יראותה וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעלם ולעלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ברכו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. Well, here we are. We did this. We got together. We gathered somehow. And I violated something I never do on Shabbat, and that's go online. But I felt that this was what the hour calls for, right? If we don't do this, how are we going to congregate? How are we going to be together? So I believe all of this, l'shem shamayim, all of this is for the sake of heaven. All of this for holiness. And I hope that gathering together this way, even digitally, even virtually, gives all of us a little bit of a measure of community, of a feeling of community. Just looking at Terry's face and watching her look at what's coming in, I think that's happening. And in a small way, just by looking at her, I'm getting a little bit of that feeling. So here we are, non como nuestro Dios, there is none like our God, the Enke, Eloheinu, and here we go.
Nuestro Dios,
אתה אדוננו, אתה מלכנו, אתה ומושיענו. Tú sos nuestro Dios, tú sos nuestro Señor, tú sos nuestro Rey, tú sos nuestro Salvador. Shabbat Shalom umenucha, a sweet Shabbat to all of you, wherever you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing with us, for being here with me and with Terry. We love you. We miss all of you. Hope to see you soon. Big virtual hugs to everybody. Shabbat Shalom.